I'll just start with what makes commercial TV stand out from the consumer TV. I guess most of you might be familiar, though I'll just take you through the basics of what makes it stand apart. Because as everyone might be familiar with, at times or most of the times, you might be having this question thrown out to you as to why we need to go for a commercial one when at times they feel like consumer TV might be something that's financially viable, right? Cost-wise cheaper. For commercial LFDs, the major hitting factor is the operation hours. Uh, if we take aside the basic entry level smart signages, the mid level and high end QM series and QH series are something that you can keep running 24 bar 7, right? You can have it running for years in a continuous instance, right? Given that there's no power shortage, whereas you don't get to do that with consumer TVs. So as you can see on the list, you get to hide the brand of the display, right? There won't be any branding facing onto you when the signage is in a fixed position. Whereas with consumer TV, you get to see the brand name put on top on the bezel facing you, right on the bottom of the screen. You get to change the boot logo. So once the device starts, it can be a customized logo that will be popping up instead of the device brand name, right? You get to choose the orientation of your choice, because at times the installation will be in portrait, so you get to configure the display in such a way that the contents are all shown in portrait. So we have an option called auto, which will automatically detect how you have done the installation. If you have done the installation, it will detect that it is in portrait and will show the contents accordingly. And the non glare factor, right? So there would be instances where you would have installed the display so close to lights falling on top, or glasses around the opposite, which might not give you the best impression of when you're looking at the signages, right? So you'll be having this what do we say reflections falling onto the displays, which can be minimized with commercial displays, because with these displays comes with a matte display, and that will negate the glare factor. So we usually measure haze in percentages up to 100. And if you keep apart the entry level, most of the lineup has a haze factor which is exceeding 70-75%. Then comes the next part, which has minimalized the need for a complex setup when it comes to signages, because you might know, when it is a consumer TV or a TV that's not smart enough to show signage content, you may have to bring in a thin client, right? An Android G box or a thin Windows player like in Intel NUC or something, and the integrator who might be coming up with the signage solution might need the application installed in that thin client, so that the HDMI out coming from the thin client will be connected to the display, and the display will just be portraying what's coming through the HDMI. Whereas with our signage displays, which are powered by Magic Info solution, will get to have the content downloaded locally in the installation in the internal storage, and with the Magic Info client application being installed system on chip inside the display, gets to show the content on the display with the rule that we have sent, right? With the schedule that we have sent as to when the content should start and when it should stop. So it is an all-in-one display which holds the signage software. It even have a browser inbuilt, which will let you do basic browsing, right? You then jumping on next, you get to have wireless screen mirroring. You get to cast your gadgets onto the display, and it can take up to six consecutively. So when you have more than one devices attempting to cast onto the display, uh, it can bring it into small what we say uh, collage kind of thingy and get to have multiple displays shown consecutively. We have features which will let us lock access, whether it is remote, button, USBs, or anything. So imagine an instance where you have the display which is out in the public where people might be walking back and forth, right? Outside, in a mall, in a lobby where people get to have physical access onto the display. So you might have the need to make sure that no one connects the USB and play their own content, right? So for that, with the Magic Info solution, which is our signage CMS content management software, you get to lock it virtually over the network, right? From the server, you get to choose the display and get to configure it in such a way that even if someone connects the USB, the display won't detect it. Same for remote. People might be aware that we had smartphones until recent in the past, which were coming with the IR transmitters, right? So people can randomly approach the display and turn them off, change the input, do whatever they can with those, or if they bring their own remote, sometimes some features might work, even though it might not be in the proper way, right? So if you feel like you want to arrest that feature, you get to do that as well. So all those feasibilities are in here on the security aspect. As I've said, as I've told earlier, we have inbuilt browser. We get to have source autoplay if you have multiple source in, and if one source gets active, the display can detect it automatically and change the input. Only if you enable auto source switching in the settings, right? If you disable it, auto source switching won't happen. So it comes with all major safety certifications, which makes it suitable for commercial applications. So, this is basically the nomenclature of
Abner,
how. Yeah,
sorry to interrupt. I have some queries in the previous slide. Can you please go to the previous slide, please?
please. Yeah, please. Yeah,
Okay, this logo, you mean to say that there will be no any branding Samsung at the bottom of the display?
yeah. For standalone lineup. Yeah.
This is for all the models or for any particular series?
So Q series, LFD Q series.
Okay, and second thing regarding this media player signage, what is the
Yeah.
difference between our in-house media player and the third party? Like there are third party products like Brightsen and all. So which is wiser to convince for the customer for the signage application?
As I've told you, we have our own content management software called Magic Info. So we'll be having the server side and the client side. The client application resides inside the TV. So you don't need any media player. Media player is inbuilt. So it is a system on chip solution which will let you have the signage already hosted. So it comes with the signage software already hosted inside the TV. So all you need is power connection, network connection, done.
And second thing regarding that wireless mirroring, this feature is there in the consumer TV also, right? Like a screencast.
Not multi-device. It is 1v1.
Multi-device is an option, and the signage is another option, and then this A's and this vertical things, correct?
Yeah. So
Auto switching means like when you have control system to trigger on the display when it is when a HDMI cable is connected. That feature you are referring, right? Auto switching.
yeah. When a new source becomes active for the device to switch, only when the system is configured as such. To turn
Okay.
it off, it won't happen because you might be having
Okay. Okay.
instances where, yeah,
Thank you. Thank you, man.
yeah. Okay, so this non-glare factor won't be applicable for all models because the entry level one will be having a glare percentage of only 2%. So those displays will be reflective because it won't be having a perfect matte display. So it is applicable for devices that are all mid-level, high-end level displays are all hosting matte displays. The entry level only for displays that are bigger. The smaller sized ones won't be having anti-glare. The gaze factor will be limited to 2%.
Is this only referring to QM?
QM all have non-glare displays, matte displays, 75% haze.
25%, right?
75%, 75%. QM,
70
QM.
percentage is.
Yeah. So this is what the nomenclature is that we follow in Samsung, which makes it easier for you to understand what kind of device it is, right? So each uh, alphanumerical value denotes something when it comes to the model number of the displays. So how each nomenclature denotes what it stands for. So the first one Q. When it is an LFD, it will be starting with Q if it is an indoor signage display, right? And when it is an outdoor display which has IP65 rating, extremely high amount of nit rate, right? So the model number will be starting from O. Then we have stretch displays, which is nothing but monitors lineup, right? Which have non-standard aspect ratios, 32 is to 9 and all. We have video walls, it starts with V. Whiteboard, both Android and our Tizen lineup all starts with W. We have business TVs, which starts with B. So the nomenclature varies based on all these specific factors, which will let you understand how these displays are, what basic common feature it possesses based on the model. So the first one denotes what kind of display it is based on the application, based on the type it is. When it comes to the next no, next alphanumeric character, right? M stands for brightness. So when you have the entry level basic displays, it will be limited to 300 350 nits. When it is medium mid level one, it will be at 500. And jumping on to the high end, the brightness will be 700 nits. And jumping on to next, the factor denotes what the size of the display is. So
This
in the
QH series is available in India.
QH series is available in India.
QH 700.
QH is available in India.
Is it a back to back or a ready stock?
I didn't get you.
Is it a back to back or it's a ready stock?
We may have to check it with the sales team on the availability part. It is available.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah. So then comes the size factor. So we have displays which are starting from size 13-inch, going all the way up to 98 when it comes to the Q series. So this green factor denotes what the size of the display is, and the last one denotes when it was launched. So the displays which was launched by end of 2023 will all be having C at the end, whereas the predecessor will be having B at the end. So you get to know what year of release it possesses based on what new alphabet it ends with. So we have something that we expect to release by end of 2024. So when we have new lineup coming in end of 2024, the model number will be ending with D. So these are all the lineups that we have in standalone. So these are all the models that we are expecting to gain momentum in 2024. You can see all the model numbers. Uh, you get to see the premium one, the high end one, how each factors are varying for each models. The premium one is not yet released. It's not yet in the market. The QHC, as someone was asking, is already in the market, and it comes with varying sizes, starting from 43 all the way up until 75. So you get to see what makes it stand out from the mid-level one, right? The brightness, basically, and yeah, pretty much the brightness. As for the operation hours, the mid level and the high end level gets to enjoy 24/7 usage, and the mid level one is made in India together with the basic one as well, whereas the high end one is manufactured from outside and imported into India. So you get to have a touch enabled version also for the basic and mid level. So in that case, there will be the model number changes with a succession of hyphen T. So if any model ends with hyphen T, that is a touch variant of the LED LFD signage, with which you get to control the display as well with the touch input. So a touch overlay will be added on to the display. So one major factor is smart view. Smart view is not supported on the basic level. The basic display QBC don't support smart view, whereas the QBB was supporting smart view.
Can you brief that smart view feature, Akbar?
Yeah. So uh, that is nothing but screen mirror. This is what this is what smart view is. So it is Samsung's own brand naming for consecutive screen mirroring. What Smart View Plus is.
Okay, thank you.
So you get to see how each models differs, right? The mid level one, high level, what makes them stand apart? The brightness factor, right? When it comes to QM and QB, the brightness as well as the operation hours. QB and QE get to work only 16 bars 7 a day. Right, then we have the business TV, which is not a signage display per se, but you have all the basic functionalities, integrations. You get to connect the display as well. You get to have other browsers and other major features also in business TV. This is how we have progressed from our B year of release and C year of release. So what changes we have adopted when we brought in a new lineup as part of our 2023 last quarter release. So you get to see how display models basic features has varied. So if you ask me what has gone so drastically different is the thickness. If you see the depth right of the display, it has jumped low from 46.3 all the way down to 28.5. So for me, I can say that around 40 around it has jumped from 1.5 to 1 if you're talking about in ratio, right? So that's pretty much how it has gone thinner. So if you have the display connected fixed on a wall, having it being so thin, the aesthetic experience will be way better when you compare it to our older model, the one that ends with B. Then comes the bezel part, right? So when it comes to our older one, the bottom bezel was having an even wider bezel as compared to the other ones, right? The upper left and right. So it was not even bezels all around the four sides of the display. But when it comes to the 2023 one, it has managed to have a same even bezel on all four sides of the display. So as you were asking what Smart View Plus stands for. So nothing but you get to have multiple gadgets, be it your smartphone on your tablet or your PC connected at the same time and have all of them shown as split, right? Is something that makes Smart View Plus stand out from our conventional. So I can have 10 connected, but up to 6 can only be casting the content onto the display. So you can see how the experience will be when it is fixed on the wall, right? Getting the display even slimmer will drastically change the perception of how good it will look on the wall, and when you have the C series and the B series kept fixed on the same wall side on side, you get to see that drastic change. And we have also made the visa holes exactly at the center, whereas for the previous ones it was not on the center and hence was not complementing the gravity factor. Whereas with the new lineup, we have it exactly centered, our visa holes, and having it fixed on the wall, the gravity effect will be uniform across all sides of the display. So we have even bezel on all four corners, which was not the case with the QXB series. So then we have our interactive lineup. So in our interactive lineup, we have you know two models basically. We have our Android mod lineup and our Tizen lineup. Tizen is nothing but our in-house proprietary OS from Samsung, and that is being used in all our VD solution, with an exception of WAC. So if you look at Samsung's display business as a whole, and if you keep this apart, none of the other displays host Android. And why Android means interactive whiteboards gains more momentum in education sector, and for them they always go for Android because they will be having learning management solution. They'll be tying up with LMS providers who usually develop applications only mostly in Android, and in times in Windows environments when the application is too complex and Android is not the right platform for them to work on, right? So with that pressure in place, we had no choice but to go for our Android lineup to gain momentum in education sector. And that is how we have come up with our WAC lineup. So WAC lineup, so it has currently 65-inch and 75-inch variant already in the market, and we will soon be having 86. And WAD is also coming up by mid of this year, and the major difference is on the RAM and ROM of the display. The current Android interactive board that we have is boasting 4 GB RAM and 32 GB ROM, whereas it gets doubled on our new lineup, and the RAM will be upgraded to 8 GB and the ROM will be standing at 64 GB. And the WD will be having Google Play Store integrated. It will be coming with Play Store as a native application, whereas with WAC it is something that we need to install manually. Then we have our Flip Tizen lineup, which is more sensible in a corporate environment, in corporate requirement, because it is something that is completely running on Tizen, and it in there, since it is Tizen, you won't get to have the freedom to install Android applications or anything as such. So instances where the major requirement is an whiteboard environment, browser, screencasting, and all those necessary features for a corporate environment, a corporate boardroom setup, where they are more concerned on the internet security part, right? Because corporates won't be that attracted to Android because they might feel like the safety aspects are not so concrete on the Android environment, right? So, hello.
Akbar, what is this difference between this WMB and WMR?
WMB and WMR again year of release. So we are phasing out WMR and jumping on to WMB.
Okay,
So,
mean the new
so if
model,
you
that's
ask,
the current model.
yeah, the current model is WMB. So we can ignore WMR because it is about to be going out of production, and we'll be concentrating only on WMB.
So my have a question of that WMB series or WMR. So it's a,
Mhm.
you are saying it's a majorly it's used for the whiteboard application, right?
Whiteboard
So how
application.
it will work? It will be screen sharing or any application for that, how it will work to the other device now, communicate to other device. For
On what
example,
aspect?
in a boardroom, I'm right. I'm taking this WME as a annotation board. So
Yeah.
whatever I annotate, if I take an Excel or something like that, I annotate. So how
Mhm.
can I mirror this thing to the main screen? Will
Okay.
it will be possible or how it
I'll
work?
tell you what. I'll tell you what. Displays won't be able to consecutively have wireless in and wireless out at the same time. Okay.
Mm,
So if
mm,
my interactive display
mm,
is, so let's say we are in a auditorium. I'm writing something on the interactive, and all the attendees don't get to see what's happening on the display because auditoriums are huge, right? So what our first course of action will be to have it connected to a projector or an active LED, right? So that everyone gets to see what's happening on the display. When it is wirelessly casting out to the gigantic display or any wireless display, it stops taking in casting. Okay, so if I'm writing something on the whiteboard, wirelessly casting to your projector, people get to see what's happening on the whiteboard real time, looking at the uh, projector
So
screen, right?
that's what I'm asking. So I
Yeah,
am using this WMA only for the annotation. So if I,
yeah,
for example, say if in auditorium I'm using this active LED as a main screen, so people
yeah.
will be able to visible on the active LED. So I'm using this WMA as a annotation. Whatever I annotate on this thing should has to be visible on the main
Will
projector
be,
or the screen.
will be.
So
It
how
will
it will be possible? So can that's what I connect you to what's how it will be possible.
wireless casting.
You are saying
Wireless,
that one it will it take it will support the how I can open the Excels and things like that. It will be loaded on the WMA or how it would be possible. I have to connect a laptop for that.
when you're connecting a laptop,
Mm-hmm.
you don't get to do cast out. Both won't happen. In those instances and all, I'll suggest WAC or Android lineup. If you want, because let's say an instance where I have my laptop, I have a spreadsheet open in my laptop. Okay, so I'm working on the spreadsheet or any office files for an instance. Okay, so my requirement is I need to have my laptop connected onto the display and consecutively have it sent out, right? So that is something that's not uh, possible because displays won't concurrently have in and out.
So
So
my
it can
question is
either be in
actually
and out.
very simple. So I'm using this WMA for
Yeah.
for annotating something on Excel. So Excel can be open by to this WMA display.
Not
What for?
directly, not directly on the WMA display. You get to
So
cast your laptop, and in there you can open, and with
so
the touch visibility you get to control it.
so from the laptop I have to cast to this WMA. From the
And with the touch
WMA I can
visibility you get to
annotate.
control. Yeah.
From the WMA I can project to the screen, main
No.
screen.
No. When the laptop mirroring is happening, it's in progress. You don't get to do cast out. That's what I'm trying to explain. So the
Mm-hmm.
display cannot concurrently host cast in and cast out at the same time. It can either be one of the two. So my suggestion, if you are someone who constantly work on office files and gets to have the need to have it connected to an even bigger display, I would suggest you go for WAC or Android lineup and
Mm-hmm.
have the contents copied to the WAC. Okay, the office files. WAC have inbuilt office application which is nothing but WPS. I guess you might be familiar with WPS. It is an alternative to Microsoft Office, and it can open pretty much all the office files, and in there if you open it you can work on it and have the display casted to an even bigger display wirelessly or wired, however you may wish.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
Akbar, where to position this WAC and where to position this WM?
WAC is mostly pushed in edtech field, WMB mostly in corporate sector.
Okay, educationally you are referring WAC, yeah?
WAC, yeah, always WAC, yeah.
Okay, okay.
Because they'll be having their learning management solutions, and they'll always, because of the price factor, when they're jumping from, one academic year to another, they might be switching LMS solutions, and almost every solution providers always bring up Android applications. So it is always logical to suggest them Android lineup. Then we have the touch variants for signages. Again, the same signages which we had gone through before, but with the added advantage of touch capability. We have something called Samsung Kiosk.
Akbar, can you explain the touch capability, please?
Nothing but again signage display. It will be having touch visibility. You get to open browsers, you get to scroll on the browser, or any document which you have opened via the browser, you get to scroll it, select it, just that. You have a touch overlay. So I'll give you a real life example. I'll give you a real
Okay.
life example. In a mall, you need a wayfinder, right? I need to see, I need to go to a random store. I know that, let's say Levi's. I know that Levi's is in there. I need to know how to go to Levi's. So I can touch, I can search where Levi's is, and it will tell me in what flow it is, right? So it is again signage which will be running 24 bar 7. You'll be having that web page designed by the shopping mall, kept as kept on the home page, kept it in full screen, so that the people who will be flocking in won't be exiting the page. So all they'll be looking is on the home screen, right? A random application I'm talking to you on. Any signage which is designed to be interactive, we always suggest the touch variant, right? Normal signages are non-interactive. So why this interactive? Flip Tizen and WC Android, they are interactive. Smart signage touch is also interactive, right? Smart signage touch is something that you can use to draw, right?
This
And
is the only unique feature of Samsung. I don't think any other brand has this.
which one?
This smart signage touch.
They can have, anyone can have a touch overlay and make their display uh, touch enabled.
Okay, this is a signage display with an overlay added so that you can just use it for just opening some browser. No, it can't be a replacement for a interactive, right?
No, no, no. Because in interactive, you can have whiteboard application. You get to draw. You get to make a drawing. You can write on something and all, right? With signage touch, you get to control, right? You get to give touch inputs, but you cannot draw.
Okay.
The experience differs. With Flip Tizen, it has watercolor mode, oil painting mode. So if you draw, right, you can even use conventional brush and draw on that, and the experience will be exactly how you draw on a white canvas, how you do oil painting, right? So you can use your brush and use color green, and when you're using color red on top, it will smudge, and you get to see how both color mixes, right? When you are experiencing it on a actual canvas. So those kind of smudging and everything will happen, and it will imitate a real life experience of what you do on a conventional paper. Same when you're using the pen mode, right? If you draw a line that's so fast, right, you don't feel like the registering of the input is somewhere behind. The response rate is 6 milliseconds, less than 6 milliseconds to be accurate. So that's how fast the response rate of our Android and Tizen lineup is when it comes to your drawing experience. There won't be any lag that you'll face. It will be so smooth, the experience will be so good. The display is so strong, it can withstand pretty much the normal impact that you expect during your day-to-day activities. Even having it exposed to kids who don't know who might not know what's right or wrong, their actions on the display can also be withstood with the kind of build that it possesses. Until unless someone intentionally decides to vandalize it, throwing in a hammer or something, nothing's much gonna happen to these displays. Plus, one more favoring factor is uh, the type of touch these displays possess. These are not hosting capacitive touch screen, the kind of touch screens that you have on your smartphone. Instead, these are all powered by IR sensors. So on all four corners, the brim of the Android lineup, even the Tizen one, will be projecting out and will be having IR transmitters and receptors facing each other on all four corners, bringing in a transparent IR layer. And when you're writing something on it, you're literally penetrating that invisible layer, and based on the coordinate where you have done the penetration, it registers the input and gets the content on the screen. I hope you got what I'm trying to put across. So it is a layer of IR, and when you're writing somewhere, based on the coordinate where you have put on your pen or your bare finger, it registers the input and shows what you are intending to write on the whiteboard application. Whereas on your smartphone, wherever you're touching, based on that touch, it detects and gives you the response. It is something that's more sensical for a quick service restaurants where you need a automated order placing solution where someone can scroll on the display on the menus, add it into the card, do the payment with the POS solution integrated. Once the payment is done, they get to have the uh, receipt printed, even perforated, right? If someone wish to do a QR scanning, you have a camera facing onto you, you get to do that as well. It comes powered with Windows as well as with Android. So the end-to-end solution is completely designed by Samsung, and even the floor stand is also manufactured and provided by Samsung altogether. So you can detach if you feel like you don't want the floor stand, you can detach it here and keep it on the counter table of the restaurant as well. So you can use a pure solution of your choice, because this POS won't come with the product, and the luxury will be for the end customer to decide which POS solution provider they have to go with, and you get to have it connected to the kiosk and get the solution going.
So actually, it's about to launch now. So it's a stand
No, no,
and
it's
everything
already
you'll
in the
be
market.
provided.
It's already in the market. Yeah, if you are somewhere near Samsung Opera House in Bangalore, you get to see it in the. We
So
have
what's
it.
the model number? What's the
Where
model
are
number?
these cases or scenarios we can position this kiosk?
Kiosk in quick service restaurants, places where we can place an order without physically approaching someone, and get your receipt, line management system, things as such.
So Ali, actually, what's the model number for this? And one more thing, actually, can I use this kiosk for the shopping mall for that? What you are
Yeah, you can
so the
you know
stand and everything you will provide, no?
yeah, you can purchase it with the stand. Yeah,
Can you give me a model number for that,
yeah, one second.
including the stand and everything?
KMCW.
Okay. And what will be the price range?
Price range you may have to check with the sales team.
Right, right.
Yeah. So the display comes with 24-inch size, comes in 24-inch. So what we have in market is only the Windows variant as for now. The Android one we are soon expecting, but not in the market. So on the processing side, it comes in three types: Celeron one, i3, and i5. All are hosting Windows 10 IoT license with 8 GB RAM and 256 GB SSD. So Yeah, that's pretty much about the LFD. Then we have our video walls, which are coming in different pixel pitch, starting all the way from 0.88, jumping on to 3.5 mm. So these are all having ultra narrow bezels. So if you are keeping it together as an array, the bezels won't be something that will be standing out, making your experience bland. So uh, as for the brightness, the high-end model will be possessing 700 and the mid-level one 500 nits. And yeah, then we have the outdoor models which are IP rated, which are capable enough to be kept in outdoor weather, having brightness of 3500 nits. Um, we have the full HD models. We have the ultra HD one, which is OHA. You can see the sizes for each size for each models, and we have the semi outdoor one as well, which starts with OM. That's pretty much about our LFT lineup. If you have any doubts, please feel free to ask.
Akbar, can you list out some of the key features which only Samsung has compared to other players in the market?
Yeah, for LFT, key factor is magic info. The magic info being our content management system. Yeah. So with one magic info server that I host in a PC inside the same vicinity where all the signage display is fixed, right? I can have a single server, and with a single server I get to control a single or multiple signage solution which span across different types. It can be either a standalone, a video wall, interactive. The solution is coming to the market, not yet. So as for now, I can skip this. Active LED, outdoor displays. So all this vibrant lineup can all be connected to a single server, and you get to manage it from here.
So this is not possible with the other brands' signage solutions.
No, no, no. Magic Info is exclusive for Samsung.
No. I mean to say, like, I'm not having an issue to name. For example, LG is also having their own signage solutions. Even
Yeah,
Sony also launched their own signage solution with some partners. So, what is the
yeah.
unique features? Like, this feature is not with their signage system, like iterating everything with a single platform.
No, I'll tell you how the licensing type and all. So many other players in the market will always give a subscription based solution, right? Whereas with Samsung, we have our free licensing as well as our paid licensing. The paid licensing being an on-time purchase and getting you to use it for lifetime. Okay, so like I'll take you with the licensing types. We have the basic one, which is Magic Info Lite. With Magic Info Lite, you get to have up to 25 displays connected to your server for free. You don't even have to pay once for that. Only when you're jumping onto this 26th display, you get to pay a small fee for the Magic Info Lite software only for the 26th one. So let's say an instance where I have a building and I have purchased 30 LFD displays from Samsung, and I get to need only my light signage features, right? I have to pay only a basic one-time fee for 5 displays to get that Magic Info Lite license. The first 25 is free. An on-time payment for the additional 5 that I have, right? So what is Magic Info Lite? What is Magic Info Premium? How both are different? With Magic Info Lite, I get to have contents on the screen in full screen. Let's say I have a 98-inch standalone display. I don't necessarily need contents running in full screen because the screen is pretty big, right? Then I can have the screen split into different parts and have different contents running in each parts. Okay, so I get to have a banner ad on one side. Yeah, this pricing is not relevant. Okay, so this is Magic Info Cloud solution that is not for the Indian market, which I won't suggest usually because it is pretty expensive. Because you'll be making use of Magic, my Samsung's own cloud. What I would always suggest is to make use of your own hardware. You get to host it on a machine. You means the end customer, right? Whoever is the end customer, if they can spare a PC or even have a PC which is having the spec enough to have our Magic Info running side by side with their application, always suggest to make use of it and have it hosted in the instead of cloud, because with cloud you get to pay a monthly premium for each type of license. Even for light you have a monthly premium, whereas in the in-premise solution that we have, right, the normal Magic Info, you don't have to pay a monthly premium. It is only an on-time payment that you get to pay for premium, starting from 1. With light you get to pay only when you're exceeding 25. With premium you get to pay from first unit. Remote management is something where you don't want content management. So these two, Magic Info is a content management solution which lets you throw signage content onto the display, have it played part of a schedule, gets to manage it, do everything. There will be instances where people don't want content management solution. All they need is remote management. They just have to control the displays, as in the sense to turn on, turn off, turn the display off, schedule a turn and turn off, lock, unlock, access to display. Basically, management of the display, not CMS, right? So as for the comparison, you get to see all the basics. So I'm just gonna ignore the third one. We'll concentrate on the first two, right? Light and premium. You get to see the basic features are all put across on both license types, right? You get to play MP4, you get to play JPG, GIF files, you get to work on PDF, Word, and all. All those basic features are in there. And where things go different is when you're talking about complex factors, right? So as I've said, you get to throw images, videos, and all. But when it comes to URL, you get to have that luxury on only on premium. Web order is a feature that will let us have contents split across in multiple. So I'll just show you how.
Got it, yeah.
So Ali, actually the file support now. What all the support I can in light and premium.
Yeah,
So what all the content it will support for light? You are saying that it will be free for 25 numbers of display.
yeah.
Will it support the PPT, Excel? So how what all the file it will support?
Uh, None of them will support Excel.
Okay.
Yeah, none of them will support Excel. So for you to have Excel, it should either be in a web page, and then you can make use of a URL, or export it as a PDF on your machine and then throw it onto the display.
So it will support the URL. It will support the
URL,
PDF,
premium. Premium
HTML.
supports URL, not the basic one. Premium supports
Basic
URL.
one, what all files I can stream?
Excluding spreadsheet, all the office files, yeah, images, the common file types, videos, common file types, all. For 4K Ultra HD and all, you need a premium license. Given that the hardware supports it,
Got
for the
it, got
basic
it.
one up until HD, we're good to go.
So the PDF and everything we'll have to buy the premium license.
No, PDF works on basic.
But for the 4K resolution, that content
4K
has to
res,
be premium.
4K res, Ultra HD, web URL, web streaming, and all, you need premium. If you want to split the screen into multiple regions and have different contents on different parts of the screen, you need premium. If you want remote management, if you want to control the device from your laptop, you need either premium or ARM. If you want to do an RTP stream onto the display, you want premium. Custom logo, change the default logo. So those are all coming with premium. Remote device restart, updating firmware. So imagine an instance where you have 50 plus displays and device need a new firmware update. You get to do that virtually. So all those complex features gets to be only in the premium version. But if your recommend is only to have a set of content or a single content running in full screen as a loop, you don't necessarily need to go for premium. So let's say I have a playlist of two videos and three images playing in a loop, right? Content one, content two, content three, content n jumping on to content one, two, three, content n jumping on as a loop. I don't need to go for premium. Light will suffice my job. Yeah. So any other doubts?
No, Akbar, you can proceed.
Yeah, that's pretty much, yeah. You can see here how a Samsung's all-in-one solution replaces the conventional one, excluding the needs for media play and all those complex. Because even with media play, just an HDMI cable or mm, other video transmission cables won't do the job. For you to do RM solutions, you might need an additional RS-232, right, to control the displays. So all those necessities are all bypassed with with a Samsung's LFD solution, with for which all you need is a power and a LAN, right? Now coming back, you might be having solutions where, so let's say an instance where I am an entrepreneur and I have a single restaurant and I get to have the need for a signage to boost my business, right? So what my usual way of implementing will be, I'll be having my laptop or a tower PC in the vicinity, being on the same network as the lefty. I'll have it connected, make the display configured so much so that it will be able to talk to my server, have the content pushed, right? So the communication happens in local network. So imagine I'm boosting my business. Hopefully, I had three or four other outlets, and now I need to control all the displays in different outlets sitting in one place, right? That is when I can have the server in my HQ or in my master outlet connected to the router, ask my internet service provider to get me a public static IP, bind my web applications port onto the IP, and on doing that, my Magic Info server will be accessible over the internet, right? So if I have my Tower PC, headless PC in my master outlet or headquarter connected to the internet, IP public over the internet, I can be in any part of the world, type in the IP and the URL, gets to access my server, which is hosted in my place, control all the displays, right? And even the displays which are being in geographically different areas gets to talk to the IP since it is public, and with the URL gets to connect to the web application which is hosted again in my HQ or in my head outlet, and have the content received from the server and kept showing onto the attendees public. So we have the in-premise solution over the internet solution. All differs only when you're bringing in the public IP from your ISP, right? Which is so cheap. You get to pay a monthly or annual fee to bring in an public IP from the ISP, and you're good to go because your server is now accessible over the internet, and the displays are all talking no matter where they are in the world. I hope the session has been clear for everyone.